From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your evening update.
Kent's Meats and Grocery is much more than a grocery store. We carry a full line of quality meats, local and organic vegetables, and a large variety of fish, Green Mountain Smart Control pellet grills, and a full deli case of sandwiches and side dishes.
Hello everyone. Well, we've got a lot to get into, so let's just get you right into it. We've got the heat to tell you about, of course, the big heat wave that we're really just starting, and we're about to go in the middle of here in the next few days, going into next week. But we also have some fires to tell you about, and of course, the big one in the Oroville area. Not much relief in the overnight hours. This is going to make the heat wave more difficult, and not to mention fighting the fires as well, because if it doesn't cool off, it's going to keep that humidity very low, and with the wind still blowing, it's going to create some problems as well. So hot, dry, and windy conditions will create that high fire danger. We saw it today. We'll see it again here for tomorrow. Now, the heat wave I'm telling you about, this will extend through this week, this weekend, and of course into next week as well. Let's take a quick look at your neighborhood forecast for tomorrow, just so you have an idea what to expect tomorrow, so you can kind of go on with your day, because we're going to go into some extensive look into the fire, and not to mention this heat wave, and it's going to take a while. So tomorrow, you bet, it's going to be hotter than it was today. I have 112 degrees on average for the valley, about 110 give or take. 105 degrees in Trinity County. But look at the coast. I mean, you're getting into the 70s for those daytime highs. And then we've got the 90s for Siskiyou, Modoc, and Eastern Mountains. So yes, those temperatures are on the increase. Now I want to show you what we call the fire hotspots. What this does is the satellite image can detect heat signatures. It is showing just how hot this fire is burning. So you can see right here, see these darker shades of red? That's getting into the extreme category. So we have got this fire burning very hot. Now that also just kind of detects the general idea of where the main fire itself is, where the hottest part of the fire is. This gives us a general idea of where the fire actually is. All right, before we take a look at watch duty, there are a few things that I want to show you. First and foremost, we're going to take a look at that big plume of smoke coming in with this. We're going to take it back about 6 hours. In fact, you know what? Let's take it back about 12 hours. And there's a look. There you can see it's kind of moving the camera around, and then eventually it detected the fire. All right, let's take a look. Here we go through time, and there it is. And that fire just keeps growing and growing. When I first reported on this fire, it was about 400 acres. It's now over 1,000 acres. It is getting larger and larger. All right, next thing I want to do is show you, again, a satellite image here. What's interesting about this is this combines, you can see the smoke plume moving due south. So the thing is, the winds are blowing from northwest to southeast. So the fire itself, it will most likely have an easier time moving to the south and east. But look at this. I mean, this thing is just staying consistently very hot. So it is still very much actively burning and very hot as well. And again, that plume of smoke just continues to push down to the south here. All right, let's now take you to, we're going to go to watch duty here, and we're going to show you where a bunch of different fires are first. There's of course the Thompson fire, right? You can see all the helicopters, all the airplanes that are trying to fight this fire. Let's real quickly, for those of you who live outside of the Oroville area, talk about the airport fire. This is fairly new. This is 2 acres. No containment reported on that one. There you can see the smoke. Most likely it should be taken care of here pretty shortly. Here you can see the Yola fire. This is at 35% containment. Haven't seen much growth out of this one. This is a very rural area, so hopefully it shouldn't impact too many people who have homes in that area. We take a look at the Muck fire. This is about 2 acres and no reports of containment. Horse sleigh is complete around the fire and is boxed with retardant on scene. Resources will begin to mop up per incident. So it sounds like they've really got a handle on the Muck fire. All right, let's take you down to the Thompson fire now, because this is obviously the biggest fire. This is the one we're most concerned about. I'm going to go ahead and click on this. The latest data coming in on this is that it's 1,611 acres. Now, I want to show you where we are seeing, of course, all of the evacuation orders. The areas in red, the areas in yellow is where we have an evacuation warning. A warning means have your stuff ready to go, because at a moment's notice, you will be asked to leave your area. But the areas in red, if you haven't left, you've got to leave because you've got evacuation orders in that area. That's as of about 5:25 as I'm recording this, okay? 5:25 this evening. And there you can see what I want to show you, because a lot of people complain that we report the zones and not all the streets. Well, look at all the streets, folks. I could spend an hour telling you every single street that's in the warning. That's going to take a long time. It also takes a long time to write that up as well. That's why it's important for you to understand how the zone program works. But first, just to give you an idea, you see the areas right here, I'm going to show you a couple of things. Right here, you'll notice the darker shades of red and kind of see a line around it. Those are the preliminary fire perimeters coming in from the firefighters, okay? So those are their preliminary, and of course, there are airplanes that fly around. They give you the preliminary thoughts here, all right, of the perimeter. Then you can see these little kind of more fuzzy dots. That's the satellite image detecting the heat signature. So for the most part, you can see this is the general area where the fire is fairly active at this point. So let's take a look at the streets that are surrounding that and are the areas of biggest concern right now. All right, so you've got Oregon Gulch Road at the northern perimeter of where that fire perimeter is, at least the preliminary fire perimeter. On the west perimeter of that, you've got Cherokee Road, which then butts up against, I'm trying to find that road here. I don't know what that is, but the road just west of Cherokee Road is also looking at that. It looks like maybe a private drive. And then we head to the south, and we're getting into just, again, far enough away from that perimeter here, but Lakeland Boulevard, that runs from west to east. And then we kind of head up here to, looks like north of Long Bar Road is where you also have, of course, that road there. And let's see if we can zoom in a little bit tighter. It can't, it won't show me the road on that one. I'm not sure what that is. So that is the overall perimeter, but you can see all of the evacuation orders, all the zones, and that can be confusing, but it's important for you to know what your zone is. So the best way to do that, go to weathernorcal.com, click on the fire danger section, and I want you to, of course, you can explore the entire fire page, but I want you to scroll down pretty far to the bottom here. You type in your address, and it will tell you which zone you're in, and if your zone is indeed ready to be evacuated, if there's an order or an evacuation warning. All right, so those are the things that I want you to do when it comes to trying to figure out where you are, where your family may be, where your family member or friend may be. That's the best way to do it, is to use the zone that you want to know about. Okay, it's important for you to understand that, because there are so many roads. By using the zones and for everyone to understand the zones, it makes it a lot easier. Okay, so let's kind of get you into the forecast here, talk about what's going on. Well, first of all, talk about the red flag warning. Now, this is through Wednesday night, through tomorrow night, and we've got the gusty winds and the low relative humidity. On top of that, you've got the heat as well. You'll notice just extreme northern Del Norte County into southwestern Oregon, there's also a red flag warning there as well, so just be aware of that. Here's the fire potential. The orange is where we have the highest potential. Hot, dry, and windy conditions is what we're looking at here. Of course, what we saw today, we'll see that again for Wednesday, but then by Thursday, we'll be back down into the moderate range. And the reason being is they're anticipating those winds to start to die down. So let's take a look at the forecast winds. 6 a.m. on Wednesday. You see how we're seeing those gusts over 30 miles per hour in the morning. This is why we're concerned about, of course, the heat as well. Then we go into Wednesday afternoon. The winds are actually subsiding a little bit here, but still gusty, still a problem for the firefighters. That actually lingers into Thursday morning, as a matter of fact. Before Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening, the winds will finally begin to show signs of relaxing and should really be a big help for the firefighters. Humidity, that's also a big concern, something that we monitor here. We're in the teens and 20s as we go. Now, closer to Chico, that's better to see that there is a little bit of relief in that relative humidity, but look at tomorrow afternoon. we're back down to the single digits. Even Trinity County started to really see those drier conditions as well. We take you to Thursday morning, still very low humidity. We're not seeing much humidity recovery in the morning hours, not to mention the afternoon on Thursday as well. So very dry conditions. So we look at the fire weather risk. Here's tomorrow morning. We're already seeing and still within the moderate to even high fire risk for the valley for Wednesday morning. That's tomorrow morning. Then in the afternoon, there it is in the extreme category, and we're seeing in the mountains just sprinkled in there areas of moderate to even high fire danger, in particular central Siskiyou County out there. And of course, you can see as the winds die down, that's good, but it's still hot and dry, so we still have some of the moderate to high fire danger for the valley. A lot of heat alerts, right? You've got the excessive heat watch off to the east, you've got the orange indicating the heat advisory, and of course you've got this indicating the excessive heat warning. What is all this? What are all the times? What does all this mean? Well, I'll try to help make sense of this, but the problem is we got so many surrounding National Weather Service offices that they give you different times of when it becomes in effect and when it actually expires, right? So the one for Western Siskiyou County doesn't take effect until Thursday through Monday night. This is the National Weather Service. This is not me. Keep that in mind. Wednesday through Saturday night, excessive heat warning for Trinity County, northern Humboldt County. For the valley, this just keeps getting extended more and more. When it first came out a couple days ago, it was expected to expire on Saturday. Then they pushed it out to Sunday, then Monday. Now, this excessive heat warning for the valley and the surrounding foothills is in effect through Tuesday night. So this is what I was talking about with this extended heat wave that's moving through. Here are the heat advisories. Again, there you can see down to southern Humboldt County, Trinity County through Saturday night, for Modoc County through Monday night, starting Thursday. And then, of course, east of the valley for Wednesday through Tuesday night, you've got that heat advisory in the mountains. Bernie, Chester, for example, are within that heat advisory. Now, this is something I talked about earlier this week, and the fact that we have all of these warnings for us here in California, and that I was going to expect to see this extend northward. Look at this. Now, it's in all of Oregon, making its way northward into most of Washington as well. Washington has an excessive heat watch. So just yesterday, it stopped right about here. In the last 24 hours, we've seen the excessive heat watches and warnings grow northward into Washington. This is a big heat wave, folks. This is a big deal. This is going to make headlines. So we take a look at the fire danger associated with this. The reason why you have the high fire danger, we've got the classic setup with this ridge of high pressure, clockwise rotation around that high, giving us the upper level support for those gusty winds for Wednesday. Now, as we go into Thursday, we no longer have that upper level support. This is moving closer to being on top of us. Now, as that happens, temperatures start to increase. I expect the peak of this heat wave to be Friday, and in particular for your Saturday, when that heat dome is right on top of us. Remember the dome, right? As you get into the high part of the dome, that's the hottest temperature. Outer perimeter of the dome, temperature is hot, but not as hot as the center of the dome. So that's right on top of us on Saturday. But check this out. As we go into Sunday, you see how it's pushing back down to the south. This is good. Then we see it push even more. But the thing is, it's going to stay fairly persistent. So even though we're on the outer perimeter of that dome, it's still going to be very hot. In fact, some areas in the valley, in particular around Redding, could still be looking at 110 degrees even through Wednesday of next week. So take a look at that trend for Redding. 118 degrees. By the way, I keep bumping this temperature up because I'm seeing the forecast. As we get closer and closer to Saturday, we're beginning to get a bit more confidence. Let me get that out of there here, this mouse here, so it's not distracting. But, 2 days ago, I think I had it at 116. Earlier this morning, I had it at 117 for Saturday. I've decided to go ahead and bump it up to 118. We'll see tomorrow morning what the forecast models are indicating, but it is not out of the question for us to at least meet our all-time high, the fourth time we've seen that so far, by the way. It would be the fourth time. We've already seen it 3 times. 117 the day before. But see how the temperatures kind of drop a little bit, but still very hot. 114 degrees Sunday, and then there kind of levels out about 110 for Monday, Tuesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then down to a chilly 109. I mean, so you get the idea. All through next week, this heat wave is going to remain consistent. Now, this is the consecutive number of 110 plus degree days. Okay, the record was set in 1978 and then again 1988. And of course, not too far behind that was in 1920, where we saw 5 straight days of 110 plus degree readings. 6 days, that's the highest in all of the times that have been taken records. I'm going to take you back to the trend. If this forecast verifies, you've got a total of at least 10 days plus of 110 plus degree temperatures. However, more confidently, I would say Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think we could very easily match the record of 6 days. Remember I was talking about the 110 plus degree temperatures? Let's see here. I think I kind of, there we go. Remember that 6 days? I think we could meet that. We could possibly even beat that and even make a record out of it. Speaking of records, we go out the next 3 days. We're not going to break a record on Wednesday. It's going to be close on Thursday, but I think by Friday we are going to break a record at Reading, in many of the Valley locations. But notice, we're not really shattering the records. What's crazy is, yes, we're going to be looking at this prolonged heat wave, but we're not shattering any records. Yes, there you can see from 97 is the record on Thursday for Mount Shasta up to 100, and then, beating that record by 4 degrees on Friday. But, I mean, again, it's not shattering that record. Same situation for Susanville. We're going to beat the record by 1 degree by this Friday. And take you out to Eureka. Actually, Eureka may break a record. Not necessarily tomorrow or Thursday, but Friday. The record, believe it or not, is 70, set in 1983. The forecast high is 74. We could break a record on the coast. I think I posted something about the cooler temperatures on the coast, and someone said 72, 74. That's hot for the coast. And it is. It's not typical, right? So here we are on Wednesday. Notice we've got a lot of red and purple on the map. What that's basically saying is the National Weather Service has this product. It's the heat risk. And the red means major, the purple means extreme. That's the highest level. Basically, what both of these mean is any healthy person without proper hydration and a way to stay cool can have some risks associated with this heat. Heat stroke, all of that, right? So we've got to watch for ourselves. Secondly, we've got to watch for our neighbors, our friends. Watch out for your pets, elderly, young children. As we go into Thursday, we're sprinkling more purple in there. Let's take you into Friday. We're beginning to see even more purple. See how it's beginning to spread out into the foothills and in the mountains on Friday, okay? Now we're going to take you into Saturday. Let's take you through the weekend. Look at all the purple on the map there. We're not seeing much change here. We take you into your Sunday, still in that extreme category here as we go from Saturday to Sunday. Not much change there. We will eventually start to see this begin to shrink, though, as we start going into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. But again, bottom line, there's Monday, by the way. See how it's shrinking just a little bit? But it's still very hot out there. Whew. All right, so we covered the fires. We covered the heat wave. Now let's get to your forecast. Here are the wave heights for the coast, by the way, and those wave heights are going to be fairly high here as we go. But you'll notice here, as we take you into Thursday evening, those wave heights will start to drop. So the winds are going to be fairly strong. There, of course, is a small craft advisory, and at some point, most likely even looking at a hazardous seas warning out there. But look at these overnight lows tonight. We're struggling to get out of the 70s. This is not good for heat stress, but number two, it's not good for the firefighters. They need cooler and more moist conditions and less winds to help fight those fires overnight. But that's not going to be the case. It's going to be warm, it's going to be windy tonight, and the humidity will be low. Okay, so we're seeing these warm nights as well. So here's your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. Look at the 7-day forecast for Weaverville. 100 degrees and higher for the next 7 days. 104 out in Hayfork tomorrow. Douglas City, 108. 100 for Burnt Ranch. Ruth, a high of 102. 99 for Trinity Center. Lewiston, 103. This is getting unprecedented, folks. 105 out in Alder Point. 106 out in Garberville. 72 for Eureka. And 85 in Blue Lake. We take you up north. Take a look at the inland areas. 100 degrees or higher, at least through Monday. We may drop below 100 degrees by next Tuesday for the inland areas. How about Siskiyou County? Well, your temperatures are going to be in the triple digits as well. For Mount Shasta, up to 100 by Thursday. The peak on Saturday, the high of 105 degrees. We're going to be breaking more records after Friday, that's for sure. All right, then we go into Wednesday, taking a look at Modoc County here. Temperatures low to mid 90s. Low 90s for tomorrow, Mid-90s Thursday, 100 degrees by Friday, and kind of just above 100 degrees for the weekend into early next week. How about the Eastern Mountains? Yeah, I mean, we're seeing 90s and 100-degree temperatures. 101 for Shingletown, 104 in Paradise. There's Susanville, 96, 95 out in Doyle. All right, here's your Valley neighborhood forecast brought to you by NorCal Tractor. Whew, look at that. I mean, 110 degrees for Chico, 110 degrees for Los Molinos, 107 for Elk Creek. Willows, about 108 degrees. Let's take you up north. 112 in Redding, as well as Anderson, 111 in Red Bluff. And there's the peak, Saturday, 116. All right, let's get you your 7-day forecast for Redding. 113 degrees for your 4th of July. Just when we thought it couldn't get hotter, it does. 117 on Friday. We could meet or even break our all-time record high of 118 degrees. That's happened 3 times since records have been taken in Redding. We could see it for the 4th time on Saturday and maybe even exceed it. I am not completely sold on the idea that we will not see above 118. I think we could possibly even see above 118. So we'll see, right? And then Sunday, temperature starts to drop, but it's still very hot going into Monday and Tuesday of next week.
We're the locals down the street. The neighbor you come to for advice. A nest egg for the golden years. A loan or a new account for that growing business. What started in Chico 50 years ago has taken us all around California, providing big bank lending power and high-tech service while keeping our relationships personal. We're still the locals down the street, no matter where your street might be. Tri-Counties Bank, California's local bank.